Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Pam, and if you're new here, I make beauty, fashion, and lifestyle videos that help you feel beautiful on the inside and out. So today, we are going to be demonstrating a TikTok makeup hack. What is a TikTok hack, you ask? Well, TikTok, the app, has a bunch of little videos of girls doing makeup, and they're explaining how they use these little tips and tricks to make their makeup look better. And that is right up my alley, and I know you guys are gonna enjoy it too. So today, we're gonna do the whole moisturize, loose powder, setting spray, primer combo, and we're gonna see if we like the way it looks. So stay tuned. Let's just get into the makeup. So when you listen to the TikTok, she's like, if you're gonna do your makeup, try this. First, put your moisturizer on, then put your setting powder on, then your setting spray, and then your primer, and then your foundation. That's the order. Hold on, I have notes because I'm 32 and trying to maneuver TikTok, so give me a moment. Okay, I got it. So what it is your moisturizer. So we're gonna go in with the Shiseido serum because that's just what I'm using right now. We're gonna go in with the Huda Beauty setting powder for the second step, and she says a translucent powder. This one is a little bit opaque, but whatever. And then we're gonna go in with the Morphe setting spray. I did not wanna go in with the Urban Decay All Nighter because I thought that would be too heavy duty for this, especially because we aren't quite sure how this is gonna turn out. And then we're gonna go in with the eyeshadow primer, the Photo Focus. This is an eyeshadow primer, but it's amazing, and I actually love it for the entirety of my face. And then we're gonna go in with our NARS foundation. So spoiler alert, I actually did these little steps on my Instagram stories. If you don't follow me on there, I'm gonna plug it here. You absolutely need to. I go into very detailed, in-depth tutorials on there, and I basically expose my entire life. So you'd be missing out if you don't follow me. But I did this little makeup hack on there with a Smashbox foundation that had a very satin finish, and I used the Hourglass setting powder, which has a very blurring satin finish as well. If a powder can have a satin feel, like that's the one that does. It looked really almost like photo studio glamour shots, like flawless. And although that's really nice for like a night out, I wanted to see if I can use some products that maybe don't have as silky and smooth as a finish and kind of just a little bit more natural. So that's why we're changing things up today. Aside from that, we're gonna get into a couple of things that I've been loving right now, like this Hello Halo highlighter, you guys. You're gonna see this on and you're gonna think that it was $1,000. That's how gorgeous it is. So let's jump into the makeup. I wanna include the TikTok that I got this inspo from and actually like talk about the sound. If you are not familiar with TikTok, it's a social media app that has swept the nation, specifically because quarantine, everyone's got time. But I really love this app, and what it does is allow you to upload videos using either your sound or sounds that other people have recorded and uploaded to the app, or music, and create videos. They can be informational, educational, comedy, artistic, food inspired. I mean, whatever it is, like whatever your niche is, like you've got a little community on TikTok. So the beauty video that has gone viral is a girl explaining that she does her makeup in these steps. She does moisturizer, loose powder, setting powder, primer, and then foundation. Now, I know that moisturizer and then loose powder, or primer and loose powder, is not uncommon. I know that that is a commonly used tactic, but to go in with the setting spray and the primer and then the foundation, I feel like that is kind of new and novelty. Now we're gonna grab the Huda Beauty banana bread and tap that on. So in the video on TikTok, she specifically says, tap on just a little bit, not too much. And I'm like, okay, that's really hard for me because I'm very heavy-handed with makeup, but you know, we are here to learn and grow. So we're gonna do just a little bit of powder. It's lightly dusted all over your face. So we're just tapping, and I'm gonna link to her video too because she deserves the credit. Okay, so then she says to grab your setting spray. So I have a few different ones, but I wanted to use the lightest formula that I have, which is gonna be the Morphe Continuous Mist. They actually came out with like, I think a coconut one or a peach one. I need to get all of them. This is so good. The original formula smells really good, but the way it mists on so finely is just so nice. So we're gonna lightly mist. Okay, and then she says to let that dry. So we're gonna give that some time to dry. So the next step is to go in with the primer, and I'm gonna use this eyeshadow primer all over my face. And the reason this step makes me nervous, up until now, I've been fine. I've been a-okay, nothing felt really out of the norm. This step to me is where I get nervous, because what we essentially did was place an emollient product down, which is our moisturizer. Then we went in with the loose powder. So it's almost like adding ingredients to make a cake. So you have your wet, which is your moisturizer, your powder, which is your dry, and now we've added a little bit of a mist on top, which is hydrating. So we're rehydrating a dry powder. What I'm anticipating to happen is that you're gonna start to see either product roll into like tiny little rolls off your face because all of those ingredients just don't mesh well together, or it's gonna turn into like a milky consistency or a really weird cake batter consistency. So I'm a little nervous because, like I said, I did this with other things and it was fine, but this specific combo of ingredients is new to me. So we're gonna go with our primer. I don't even know how I should put this on. Okay, we'll just go straight onto the face. And really I'm just gonna prime where I need it, which is right through the center of my face. And then I have a little bit of texture from a breakout here, so we'll just add a little here and add a little here. I don't think I really need to necessarily like go through the whole face, and we'll just use a little e.l.f. brush. This is a powdered blurring brush, and we're just gonna start to like buff that in and spread it out. So I was like nervous about doing this step with the Huda Beauty powder because I thought that I was gonna get like a white cast. I don't know. Everything ran through my head on how this could be bad, but really get the sides of my nose because that area has been betraying me for years. So far the skin feels really prepped and like hydrated and smooth, not overly greasy, not overly dry, which is what I was nervous about. And there's no weird consistency. There's a little whiteness kind of popping up here, but it's nothing unmanageable. I also have used a retinol product from Drunk Elephant, which I'm gonna use for a full 7 days and then actually like tell you guys about it and give you an update. But for now, I think that's actually why I'm having a little bit of like the dryness and patchiness through here, is because my skin is just really dry right there. For foundation, we're gonna go in with the NARS Long Radiant Foundation, and I'm in the color Caracas. So we are going to first buff that onto the skin with a brush, and then we're going to pounce it out with the sponge. So I'm just gonna take a little bit. I don't want a lot of foundation, and I'm just gonna start to push that into the skin. I start in the area that needs the most coverage because that's where the majority of the product is gonna be deposited, and then I work my way up to the rest of the face. I need one more pump. These kind of look like dinosaur ears, or I don't know, like a baby rhino or something. They're funny looking. They grip the hair so well. You can buy them on Amazon, and they're so good for like if you're styling your hair, if you just throw your hair up really quick, the grip is great. First thing I'm noticing when applying this foundation is that normally, because this is a long wearing radiant formula, it typically has a little bit more of a slip to it. But because we have products on our skin that are supposed to prevent slippage, like the powder and the primer, I'm having to like push and move the product around a little bit more, like manually, and then I'm having to use just a little bit more makeup than I normally would. I would not normally use 3 pumps of foundation. I build up my contour and my concealers and stuff like that, so my foundation is typically like the least amount of product I wear, relatively to how much concealer I wear. I should say that because I still wear a lot of makeup, but to get even coverage, I've had to go in now with 3 pumps. All right, I feel like we're even-ish. We have discoloration, but we're good. And I feel like I was able to like take care of the patchiness around my mouth for the most part. For concealer, we're gonna go in with the MAC Studio Fix concealer, and this is in the color NC50. This is a half shade darker than what I normally wear. I'm normally an NC45. I don't mind when my concealer is a little dark because it does a little bit of a color correction for me too. So you don't always have to have a red color corrector. Sometimes if you just drop down half a shade in your concealer, it gets the job done for you. I'm going with my J Tory Beauty sponge. This sponge is the softest, most flexible thing you've ever come in contact with. This is so nice for blending out your concealer. You don't have to push too hard so you don't end up moving your foundation, which is really nice. This literally just lets you pat the concealer out beautifully and quickly, so it's so good. Okay, we did my brows off camera because it would have taken a really long time if we didn't. So we're gonna go in and conceal. Today I'm gonna try the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. This is basically like the concealer version of their foundation. And I ordered this online, and I always go a shade like 7 shades lighter than my normal skin tone for my concealer because I really love an under eye pop. I'm gonna say this time I should have pumped the brakes because I think this is a little lighter than what I normally would. Like when I say lighter, I mean like this, you know, it's in the family, like she's a cousin. This, she's a telemarketer. Like we literally don't know who this person is. So we're just gonna do a little, you know, like kind of scared. Okay, we're gonna go back in with our sponge. I'm just gonna flip it over and use the other side and use that to pat. So I've seen really mixed reviews online about this concealer. Like some people swear by it, and then some people are like, don't waste your money and just use Tarte Shape Tape. Everyone says Sharp. You can't say that whole concealer name without saying Sharp 15% of the time. And on top of all the layers that we have on, it doesn't look muddy or it's not getting cakey, which is what I was concerned about. So it's pretty good. All right, and just so we can actually see the full scope of what this concealer can do, I'm gonna go in with a brush and start to blend that out around the eyebrows, forehead, and nose, and then compare the results to using it with a sponge. So I've blended it out with the brush now, and I do feel like it could benefit from a little bit of a pounce from a sponge. So for some reason, the brush is amazing, but it definitely does leave a bit of residual product on the skin versus this. Once you get your desired coverage, just kind of pounces out the excess, and then you don't really have too many thick layers of product. So it kind of makes it more skin-like, but specifically this sponge is incredible. And then for the nose, I'm just gonna use the sponge because it has this very sharp end right here, if you can tell. And it's really nice for just kind of keeping that highlight color really isolated on the bridge of the nose. We don't want it to get too wide. So we're gonna go in with my Holy Grail setting powder. It's the MAC Studio Fix powder. I'm a big fan of C-noaching my powders. So I first go in with the foundation powder, and then I go in with a loose powder. And then at the very end of my makeup, I sweep a little bit more of this powder on top, and it just kind of covers that loose powder. And so that you don't have like flashback in photos. And I really go heavy on my chin because I don't have a chin, so I have to build it out. So you don't have to necessarily go this intense on your chin makeup. I just have to pull it out. If I don't, it makes my chin disappear because I contour my jawline. Now we're gonna take our Huda Beauty powder, and I'm gonna take a Real Techniques complexion sponge. If you do not have this, buy it, get 4 of them. They're so good. They are such a makeup game changer. This is a little bit damp. It's not overly saturated though, and I'm just gonna take a tiny bit on this right here and then just tap underneath the eyes. It's just got a nice velvety finish, and so the way that it pushes the product into the makeup with that nice velvet texture is just like, there's nothing like it. And I'm gonna set my jawline area, although I didn't really put a lot of concealer there or the MAC powder. You just wanna bring this jawline up a little bit, and so I'm gonna do that with using a very sloped line from the corner of my mouth to the top of my sideburn to really lift my face. If I had gone straight back, which I think we see a lot of people do, they just go straight back, you're gonna actually drop your features. So you want to lift, you wanna go up, just like that. All right, while that's soaking in, we're gonna start to prep our eyes for eye makeup. I'm just taking my NARS concealer, the Creamy Radiant formula, and then a little duo fibered brush, and just buffing that onto the lid and then working my way up to the brow. You guys, when I first got this concealer, I didn't think it looked good on me. I didn't think I was gonna like the formula. I rarely touched it, and now I clean my eyebrows up with it. I prime my eyelids with it. It's really good, and it's a little bit less intimidating to use than the P. Louise bases because it's not as sticky, and it comes in a few more versatile skin tones. So if you're looking for an eyeshadow primer and a concealer product because you want to minimize how much product you have in your collection, this concealer is going to be a good one for you. Okay, we're going to keep the eyes really simple today. We're just going to go in with this J. Torre Beauty palette, and let's grab this color right here. We're just going to build up. This is going to be the fastest eyeshadow look you've ever seen because the focus is really on the face today. And I don't want to leave the bake on for too long because I think that's going to change the result of our makeup, and we want to really see how all those steps worked out. With a really small little buffer brush, we're just going to go in underneath the lash line. And I go pretty low on my lower lash line because what it does is it covers up any other under eye creasing you might have just from like natural texture on your skin, and it makes your eyes look bigger. So it's a double whammy for me, but you don't have to go this low down your face if you don't want to. All right, same tiny little brush. We're gonna go in with this warmer brown right here and pop that all across the lower lash line into the inner corner and the outer corner, and then just kind of combine those two colors and wing it out past your eyebrow. You guys, you gotta go past your eyebrow. If you don't, you're not gonna get the eyeshadow look that you want. Go back with that small little smudger brush, take this darker color. I'm gonna mix it with this really dark brown right here, and then use that as kind of like a faux eyeliner look, or not using eyeliner. And for this lower lash line, pull it out just a little bit too and kind of connect it to that top shadow. And then take your fluffy brush and then just kind of blend all of that in the zigzag motion, and it helps soften that look so you don't have obvious lines or discoloration. All right, for the lid, we're just gonna take this tiny little flat shader brush, and let's grab this coppery color right here, and we're just gonna kind of push that onto the lid. I'm just pressing and rolling, and that's how you get the most out of your shimmer shade. And that same copper color we're taking into the inner corner. I told you, easiest, fastest eyeshadow look. And I'm not taking it too high up into the crease because I don't wanna cover up that matte shade. I really just want the shimmer shade to be very close to the lash line. Keeping that shimmer isolated is what's gonna help open up your eye. If it goes all over the place, it starts to overwhelm your eye look. It's optional, but you can go back in with that small little shader brush and take that dark brown color and then tap it over the lash line to create kind of like a fake eyeliner look. You can do this with a black eyeshadow if you want to, and if you want to get really precise, you can do this with an angled brush, but I just prefer to have like a softer, thicker, more blurred look. Notice that I blend between each step to make sure that I'm not putting on too much product and I'm not leaving too much product on the skin. All right, let's dust off this bake. Let's go in with my Michaels brush. This is from a craft store. You guys, look how giant it is. It's so good. I love it just to dust off bake. So because we set the skin first with the loose powder, we probably could have skipped baking as long as we did because I feel like it's a little too matte now, but we'll keep going. All right, I'm gonna go in with my MAC Studio Fix powder in NW45. This is more of a red tone, and I'm just gonna use that, add a little bit of a shadow to the outer edge, but I'm not really contouring like with like lines and, you know, like old school contour. I'm just kind of adding a little shadow to the rim. And for my face shape, I can't contour right here. I have to actually contour down here to create more of a shadow. Now with a smaller brush, this is a Morphe M438. I really love this brush. I'm actually gonna use this to create our contour, but so that it looks natural, I always take a little bit out of my hand, swirl, and take it on your hand. And that's kind of how you can control the product. And then I'm starting right diagonal for my eye and then going up because you don't want to go straight back. Remember, we're lifting our features. So putting contour product on top of that foundation combo, we're gonna call it the TikTok foundation formula, it's catching a little bit in certain places. And that's because if you don't put all of the preparatory products like the moisturizer and the loose powder and the primer down in the exact same spot, you're gonna start to see areas where it's catching a little bit. So just kind of something to keep in mind. If you're gonna put it all over your face, put it all over your face. Like don't just dab a little bit because you're gonna start to have areas where it skips, which is kind of what I'm going through now. So we're gonna blend that out. All right, to soften that patchy area up right here, I'm just gonna go in with my big powder brush and kind of go over it, and it's gonna combine that baking powder. Even though we swept majority of it off, it's still a little bit on there, and so blending that in with the matte powder is gonna kind of like help diffuse that. And that's not necessarily like the TikTok formula fault. That's mainly just because like I should have been more precise about where I was placing it. I just don't typically have to be with my primers and prep products, but with this, I think you really can't veer from it. You've got to place every product everywhere to get even application. Whatever's left on the brush, I'm gonna just use to contour my nose. All right, for blush, we're gonna take this really soft pale pink color right here. This is from J. Tory Beauty, and we're just gonna tap and work our way up to the outer corner of our eye. So I don't actually mind if my blush comes like right up underneath my eye. To me, it looks a little bit more youthful and it lifts your features more. If you place it right where your contour is, you're just gonna pull your features out and down. So you always wanna like layer up. And it's okay if it gets towards the under eye because it just looks a little more youthful that way anyways. And then whatever's left on the brush, I typically take and then pat on my chin just to make sure that my chin doesn't look too white or lighter than the rest of my face because we really do highlight there. Okay, for highlighter, we're gonna use the one that I mentioned earlier. It's the Wet n Wild Hello Halo. And this is the color, you guys. It is so gorgeous. Literally, I cannot believe this is a drugstore highlight. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the coral color at first and tap it on, and then I'll put the gold on top of it just to kind of build up our look and give it a little more dimension. Here comes the gold, you guys. You won't even believe this. It looks like glass and velvet had a baby, and this is the product. This is their love child. So good. Cannot get over that. I'm actually gonna go in on the inner corners as well and like kind of brighten that up just a little bit. All right, I'm gonna do mascara and lashes off camera. Okay, for lashes, I popped on the Milan Snow Lashes by J. Tory Beauty. They're named after her daughter. I think that's precious. And for lips, we're gonna go on to do the KKW Classic Icon 2 with the Rimmel Cherry Kiss Liner. Okay, let's take these clips out and take a look at the entire thing together. Okay, I have some words of advice. If you're gonna go in with your moisturizer, and then your loose powder, then your setting spray, and then your primer, make sure that you are applying every single layer equally, all over your entire face. Don't just dust down the center of your face, because what I experienced was skipping and catching of the contour powder right in through the cheekbone. It kind of got really frustrating because I ended up having to blend out quite a bit, apply more product, blend it out, and it just added to my steps. So do I think it's good in terms of longevity? Yeah, I don't think this face is going anywhere. I think it's rock solid. I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.